Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of our Wild Rimworld series. On our last episode, the colonists killed Sterling in the Sightsealers that he summoned with his ghastly howl. They also survived enemy raids, a brutal sandstorm that lasted many days, and they also rescued a woman named Izu from rats. And now, the colonists have finally arrived at their first capture quest, the ancient stockpile. Beneath the desert sand lies valuable spaceship parts and supplies long forgotten by time. Free entrance doors need to be hacked open and raided for the treasure inside. Another step towards expanding the grab ship. It's time to make it happen. John Ray works on hacking the ancient stockpile entrance door open. Meanwhile, a flash storm strikes the desert. But with nothing flammable outside, this is only a minor danger at most. The flash storm soon passes, and Dawn Ray continues working on the ancient stockpile entrance late into the evening. Early next morning, Kalios and Chuen head out into the desert. They begin work on hacking the other two entrances. But just then, doom approaches the colony. The blood machines have come. The dread Mechanoids from the Gnarlin Mech Hive. A cipher rushes Kalios. He turns and flees towards the other colonists. The rest of the colonists are drafted and run towards him to help. The cipher catches up to Kalios. It lashes out with its blade and cuts one of his arms deeply. Kalios uses his psychic burden ability to slow the cipher down and keeps on fleeing. Meanwhile, the other colonists arrive to help. They open fire in the cipher. Working together, the colonists bring the cipher down. But there are still more blood machines out there. Two more groups they have to deal with. The colonists rush back towards the grab ship and take out the auto turrets. These will help provide cover fire against the approaching blood machines. Soon after, the next two groups of Mechanoids attack. The colonists rush to intercept them. Chuen, Jeff, and Izu take on the group from the north. At the same time, Dawn Ray, Chugi, and Kalios take on the group from the west. Chuen and Jeff take out the cipher in the north. They move around to flank the other two Lancers. Meanwhile, on the west, the Outturrets take out one of the Lancers. The trio of colonists work together to take out a pikeman. Only one Lancer remains in the north. The colonists go around to flank it. The colonists work together, and the final Lancer falls. Another victory for the Raiders of Dawnfire. The colonists have won their first victory against the Gnarlin Mech Hive, but there will surely be many more battles ahead. Thankfully, aside from Chuen and Kalios, no one else is injured. Dawn Ray finishes opening the first ancient stockpile entrance. There's only two more to open now. Dawn Ray works late into the night to make flak helmets for the colony. After all, they have no idea what dangers lie beneath the desert sand. It's best to be prepared. He stays up all throughout the night to noon the next day, making flak helmets. He takes a break to get some food and go to sleep. Meanwhile, Chugi takes over making flak helmets for the colony. While she finishes the first flak helmet, a royal tribute collector visits the colony. They seek golden prisoners in exchange for royal honor, but the colony has a different idea in mind. Chuen visits the ancient danger and opens the hole in the wall. Perhaps these Imperials can help fight off the dangers within. But surprisingly, there are only very few small insects inside the ancient danger. Not much of a threat. The colonists can handle this on their own. They draft up in the middle of the night and head out to the ancient danger, ready to claim the treasure inside. Jeff sneaks inside and takes aim at the insect hive and fires. But one of its bullets hits the ancient crypto seed casket, releasing both the people inside. One of them appears to be friendly, but the other is a very hostile person, a very dangerous man. The giant bugs rush out to attack Jeff. The Ark colonists run forward to help. The dangerous man shoots at poor Whitney here, but thankfully she manages to escape. That with a few minor injuries. Jeff moves in and takes out his psychic shock lance. He takes aim at the dangerous man and fires. The psychic shock lance fries the dangerous man's brain, bringing him down. With the dangerous man downed, Kilios takes his Hellcat rifle. He also strips the man of his Space Marine armor, and he knows just the colonists that could use this armor. Twin, being their colony's melee fighter, could really use this armor to protect himself, and so he takes the armor and puts it on. This will greatly increase his chances of survival. Kilios took the dangerous man prisoner, but he's too dangerous to keep around. Kilios speaks with the royal tribute collector, and he hands over the dangerous prisoner in exchange for honor. But just then, Jeff gets an infection in his right leg. It appears that his wounds from the Mega Scare bug haven't been properly treated. Kilios takes out some Glitter World medicine and tends to Jeff's leg. This powerful medicine should be enough to save his life. While Jeff recovers in bed, 4 colonists prepare to go underneath the desert. It's time to explore the first ancient stockpile. The underground is dark, but some faint red light shines through the locked doors. Dawnray and Kalios work on hacking the ancient west doors. Dawnray opens the first door, and Twin takes a peek inside. But then, an ancient sleeping robot attacks. It's a hunter drone. It rushes for the colonists, intent on exploding them to death. Twin is able to get away in time and takes a hit. Thankfully, his Space Marine arm protects him from the worst of the damage. It may have very well saved his life. With the room now clear, the colonists can begin to loot it. Among the loot is a Doomsday rocket launcher. A very powerful explosive weapon. This could come in handy later on. The colonists continue to search the ancient abandoned underground rooms, not finding much. In hindsight, there were many pallets down here of packaged survival meals, but the colonists didn't notice them at the time. Probably because it was so dark and they could barely see down here. Which is a real shame, because despite all the time that has passed, those packaged survival meals are still perfectly edible, and they could have really helped feed the colony for a while. But unfortunately now they never will. Instead they will continue to sit here, unopened on the pallets for the rest of eternity. With the last room of unopened packaged survival meals found, the colonists decide to leave this ancient stockpile. But there are still 2 more doors they need to open up. Perhaps one of them will contain the ship parts they need for their grab ship. The next day, Dawnray opens up another ancient stockpile entrance. His hacking skills are proving to be quite useful. The colonists scatter up to explore a new entrance, including a now healed Jeff. In one of the rooms they find giant killer insects. Twin body blocks the door, and the other colonists fire the insects behind him. They manage to kill all the insects without issue. They also attack and destroy the insect hive afterwards. While exploring the underground, another hunter drone attacks. Twin takes another hit, but thankfully his Space Marine armor fully deflects the blast, protecting him from harm. The colonists continue exploring the underground, and finally, they find it. Grav-light panels and a grav core. Critical components to expanding their grav ship. A worthy treasure indeed. Donray gathers up the grav-light panels and grav core. And poor Twin runs into another hunter drone. Thankfully, he manages to get away from the explosion in time, not taking any damage. Donray opens another blast door, and Twin once again goes inside to investigate. This time he's attacked by wasp drones. Thankfully, his Space Marine armor protects him once again, and the colonists help him kill off the wasp drones. Within the room the wasp drones were guarding, Twin finds a crate of Glitterworld medicine. A good find. The colonists explore the last 3 rooms down here. Within those 3 rooms are 3 pallets of perfectly good edible packaged survival meals, but the colonists don't notice them. It's a huge amount of food for the colony too. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to have to go hungry for a while. All because they didn't grab those meals when they had the chance. The next morning, the colonists work on expanding their grav ship with the newly acquired grav-light panels. This will give their grav ship some desperately needed space. They first work on expanding the grav ship's storage room. They also move their auto turrets further up. When it's done, the animals have a little more legroom. And more storage space for the rest of their valuable goods on the grav ship. Using the grav core, Donray builds a grav fuel extender for the grav ship. This will allow them to increase the size of their grav ship. And more room on the grav ship is exactly what they need. The colonists then work on expanding the back of the grav ship. This room will be a hydroponics and sun lamp room. This will allow the colony to grow food inside the grav ship, no matter where they go. Having more food production will greatly increase the colony's chances of survival. As the sun sets over the desert sand, the colony works late into the night to expand their grav ship. And early next morning, Donray trades with the tribal traders from the Olga Alliance. He trades them many things in exchange for silver, boss steel, and some yaks the colony can butcher for meat and leather. To make room for the hydroponics bay, the colonists expand the rear of the grav ship so they can move the thrusters back. While working on the behind of the grav ship, a local emu goods man tries to attack the colonists in a bloodthirsty fit of rage. The colonists are drafted and face the emu together. The oversized bird is no match for their superior firepower and quickly falls. The colonists move the thrusters of the grav ship back and work on building the engine room around it. Though it is not elegant by any means, it will be enough to keep the grav ship flying. In the late afternoon next day, Donray begins working on hacking the final ancient stockpile entrance. Meanwhile, Jeff goes to trade with the traders from the Compact of Valyria. He trades them for some more medical supplies, which the grav ship and the colony desperately needs. Then in the late afternoon, Donray finishes hacking the final ancient stockpile entrance. But just then, a group of migrating emus pass through a desert. The colonists need more food, so they decide to work together to hunt them. The colonists open fire on the emus, and the emus are now pissed. Channeling their inner Australian, the colonists stand their ground and fight against the emu plague. Twin bravely and boldly stands his ground against the emus, allowing the colonists to fire at them from behind him. And unlike the Australians from thousands of years ago, these colonists managed to defeat the emus. Another victory for the Raiders of Dawnfire. And dinner is served. The colonists carry back the emus to the grav ship's butchering table, and Chugi butchers them for their meat. We're having emu steaks and burgers tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The colony will eat well tonight. Later that night, after a delicious emu dinner, a solar flare strikes the colony and region. This will disable their power for a little while, but it shouldn't cause much harm. The next morning, the colonists ascend the final ancient stockpile entrance, ready to claim the treasure that lies below. In one of the side rooms, the colonists find not only another hunter drone, but also some wasp drones as well. The colonists retreat, but Jeff is attacked and stunned by a wasp drone. The Hunter drone explodes, and Twin and Jeff are both shredded by that explosion. Thankfully, their armor protects them from the worst of the blast, but their wounds will need to be treated soon. The colonists finish off and kill the rest of the Wasp drones. Downright tends to Jeff's wounds, and Kilios tends to Twins. They stop their fellow colonists and guildmates from bleeding out. Twin opens the crate that the drones are guarding. Inside, he finds a psychic soothe pulsar. This could be useful later on. But aside from that, the colonists don't find much else down here. And of course, they fail to see a pallet of perfect good packaged survival meals. Most unfortunate. With the ancient stockpile now fully explored, the colonists decide to visit a nearby distress signal site. Although this site is from a rival faction, perhaps if they help them, the colonists can get a reward in exchange. The boys begin to make plans to prepare for the trip ahead, while Chugi and Izu stay behind to watch the grab ship. And in the cold desert night, the boys depart for their journey. The next morning, Izu trades with some friendly tribal traders. She trades them some of the colonist boomloops in exchange for silver and pemmican. But just then, an enemy raid appears. 3 groups of tribespeople from the Agupe kinship have launched an attack. Perhaps they followed the tribal traders here. Chugi and Izu grab their guns and go out to scout the enemy. They open fire on the free tribals, hoping to weaken them before the battle begins. The tribals notice them and give chase. Chugi and Izu retreat. But Chugi is struck by an arrow in her left hand, greatly wounding her. Chugi and Izu retaliate on one of the approaching tribespeople. And enraged, Chugi guns down one of the tribespeople. This causes the other 2 to launch their assault. Chugi and Izu flee towards the grab ship. Chugi and Izu group up with the trade caravan for safety. Meanwhile, the enemy tribals decide to attack the auto turrets. Then the other 2 groups of tribals decide to attack. Chugi kills the last tribesperson hiding behind the corner of the grab ship. The other one decides to flee. One tribesman approaches and is gunned down by the auto turrets. The last group of tribals decide to attack the friendly trade caravan. They begin to loose arrows at each other. Meanwhile, Chugi tends to their wounded hand in the grab ship. The friendly tribal archers and the auto turrets fight off the attacking force from the west. Meanwhile, to the north, the auto turrets take out another tribal. Chugi and Izu move in south to help them. But then, an enemy arrow hits a boomalope, causing it to explode. This sets the other animals around it on fire. This could get ugly. Chugi lands a killing blow on another tribal. This is enough to cause the rest to flee. Chugi and Izu couldn't have won this fight alone, but thanks to the friendly tribals and the auto turrets, they managed to fight off the raid from the cannibals of the Agupe kinship. The desert sand is stained with blood, but the friendly traders from the Olga Alliance and the rares of Dawnfire live to see another day. Late in the desert night, a poor tribeswoman named Mole bleeds to death, and her comrades from the trade caravan left her behind to die. Chugi goes out into the desert to tend to her wound, stopping her from bleeding to death. She then rescues Mole, carrying the poor woman back to the grab ship to recover from her injuries. The next morning, the boys arrive at the distress signal from the Evra Coalition. But what they find is a nightmare from hell. It appears that strange flesh creatures have attacked this outpost. They have overwhelmed the defenses and killed everyone. Only skeletons, stripped clean of flesh, remain, as silent witnesses to the horde that befell this place. The boys spot a flesh creature and open fire upon it. They take it down. The colonists explore the Doom base with caution, but then they are ambushed. More of the flesh creatures are coming from underground. They know they're here. The flesh creatures emerge from underground, chasing after the colonists. There's nowhere to run. The only way out is to fight. Thinking quickly, the colonists retreat into a small room. The small door will act as a choke point, preventing them from getting overwhelmed. As the flesh creatures from hell try to enter the door, the colonists open fire. Twin blocks the door and fights with his knife. The colonists provide cover fire behind him. The colonists finish off the first wave of flesh creatures, but there's still more of them out there. Twin works on filling the pit the creatures came from. Wow, Kelios, Stonray, and Jeff hunt down the stragglers outside the base. They carefully explore the rest of the base, fighting off flesh creatures and finding loot left behind by the poor souls that once lived here. They also destroy 2 large flesh sacks, which contain large black shards which reek of the void. They don't know what these black shards are, or where they came from, but perhaps they contain a clue about what happened to this place. The colonists manage to kill the rest of the flesh creatures hiding in this place, but all of them are heavily wounded. The colonists tend to their wounds, gather all the loot that they can carry, and then they get the hell out of this place. After the horrors they saw here, no one wants to stay any longer. The colonists depart and head towards a friendly tribal village. Rumor has it that this village has information about an ancient artifact. Perhaps it can help them on their journey. The boys arrive at the tribal village. There's a large building in the center which they decide to go investigate. Dominic approaches the ancient computer and begins to hack it. However, this action upsets a tribal woman named Blue. She attempts to kill the colonists, but they retaliate, bringing her down. They then pack up and head back towards the graph ship, leaving the tribal village behind. Meanwhile, back at the graph ship, Chugi has somehow gotten sick from muscle parasites. Although it is not fatal, Chugi will be in pain for some time. She tends to herself and goes to get some rest. While on their way back to the grab ship, the boys decide to take a detour and attack a nearby pirate outpost. Mole also leaves the grab ship, thanking Chugi for saving her life. The boys arrive at the nearby pirate outpost and plan their attack. The colonists move forward and begin their attack. They take aim and fire at one of the patrolling guards. They manage to wound him, but this alerts the rest of the pirates and the fight begins. The colonists kill the first raider, but 6 more are closing in. As the raiders close in, Twin charges one with Molotov cocktails and fights her in melee range. The rest of the boys spread out and return fire. They kill 2 more raiders. Now it's 4 and 4. They kill 1 more raider. This is enough to cause the other 3 to flee. The colonists keep firing on the fleeing raiders, not letting up. In the end, only 1 pirate manages to escape. The rest are downed. They enter the pirate raiders' base and take any battles they can find. They then depart later that night, heading towards another pirate outpost nearby. Meanwhile, at the grab ship, another royal tribute collector arrives. This is good, for they can help protect the grab ship while the rest of the colonists are still away. The next day, the boys arrive at another pirate outpost, ready to take it out. In the meantime, the colonists also decide to accept a certain kind of quest. A quest to lure 12 manhunting cougars towards the grab ship in exchange for a reward. The boys approach the second pirate outpost and open fire. Jeff uses a psychic shock lance to fry a pirate's brain, knocking him unconscious. Another fierce firefight begins. But it doesn't take long for the Raiders of Dawnfire to triumph. Another group of pirate raiders have been defeated, making this lawless and cruel world a slightly safer place. And once again, the Raiders of Dawnfire clean up the base for anything useful, and head back towards the ancient stockpile where their graph ship awaits them. And late that night, they arrive back at the graph ship, bringing back valuable supplies and loot. They also bring back a prisoner, a man named Edward. Perhaps they can interrogate him to learn more about the pirates' plans. And perhaps they can convince him to join their cause, but only time will tell on that. The next morning, another friendly trader from the Olga Alliance arrives. And soon after, 12 men hunting cougars appear, seeking human blood. John Ray's wandering in sadness for a mental break, but the rest of the colonists prepare to fight. As the scary infested cougars approach, the tribal traders and colonists engage them in battle. The colonists also activate their auto turrets, bringing more firepower against the bloodthirsty beasts. The tribal traders overextend forward and get overwhelmed. The colonists do their best to provide fire support, and kill the scary infested cougars mauling them. After a fierce firefight, the last cougar falls. But many tribals have died in the battle, and others lay wounded in the hot desert's hand. Twin and Jeff head out to tend to two of the fallen tribals. Perhaps they can save them, if they can stop the bleeding. Kelios finishes off the final cougar. And soon after, the colony receives their reward. Some raw gold and a psychic shock lance. But then, something happens the colonists don't expect. A wanderer approaches the graph ship, an old friend. It's Stepp, one of their old guildmates. It seems that he's managed to track them down. And this is fantastic news, for his skills will be a welcome addition to the colony. And with the arrival of Stepp, it seems like a good time to leave this blood-stained desert behind. The colonists scatter from the graph ship and prepare for launch. And Stepp, with his excellent piloting skills and intellect, will pilot the graph ship, with Domri acting as co-pilot. With more parts for the graph ship and Stepp's arrival, the future is looking bright for the Raiders of Dawnfire. And with that, I think this is a good place to make the cut in today's episode. Until next time, have a good one.